Hello, everybody. Welcome to another installment of Mermaid Consciousness. My name is Devante, and before we get started, I like to just go ahead and set the space, okay? So, we call upon the Guardian families, the Aurora and Christ families aligned to law of one mission to work together for the highest capacity of exchange of God's infinite light, love, and power in divine right order and harmony. We activate and fortify our 12th dimensional shield. From within our core, we push out our shield energies with the GSF code, I am God, I am sovereign, I am free, to our entire personal boundary and home space. We fill our space with the liquid Christ light, the crystal light, saturating our entire space and protecting us in all boundaries and in all dimensions. And um, we also fortify and sanctify our four corners from north, south, east, west, and in the earth, sky, and into our heart. We ask the Crystal Guardian Forces to anchor and set our space within the four corners. And we are impenetrable and invincible, and we seal into the light. And so it is. Okay. So now that I done set the space, now it is time to talk about today's topic, which is my personal experience dealing with mind control and alien technology. So, before I really kind of just delve into the topic, I ask that, you know, um, I'm putting this out, to create awareness and to put the information out there, not to create fear or anything, but just so we become aware of the type of obstacles that we may face on the pathway to our highest selves and our highest journey in alignment with the divine plan. So, this is nothing to fear, it's just my personal experience with dealing with certain types of technology, certain warfare tactics, spiritual warfare tactics. And I just want more people to be aware and to be awakened to what's going on. So I guess where I should start is it's important to acknowledge the different types of agendas that are going on around and the different extraterrestrial species, the different aliens that have been involved with humanity's evolution process or de-evolution process, and how that ties into what's happening today. So, as we know, there are, well, at least if you're like a conspiracy theorist, or quote unquote, like, you've went down that conspiracy rabbit hole, of like the reptilians or the negative aliens and how they basically groom their own bloodline to rule the, like the what we call the power elite, or for lack of a better term, the Illuminati. So we're going to be talking about that today, and a lot of the different tactics that they use to try and slow down your spiritual progression, your evolutionary progression. So my personal experience comes from dealing with certain types of what we call alien technology or artificial machinery, which is essentially designed to interfere with the building of your spiritual body, the building of your aura. And the story I have with that is it's what I went through, unfortunately seeking help from the wrong person. So this goes back to 2019. And during this time, I was like kind of in a vulnerable state. So this person had hit me up from on Twitter, and I really would caution against I would caution against accepting help, especially spiritual, like body work help from people, because you never know what their intentions are. And you don't know what they're about unless they state it like outwardly, like, you know, they're open about it. So this dude, he approached me, he asked me, and I had liked one of his tweets. That's how he approached me. And he said, you know, hey, I'm offering like spiritual services, you know, like a chakra cleanse or like abundance spells. And, you know, this person, he claimed that he was um, a black magician. So the thing with black magic is magic, which is consciousness technology. It can be used for good or for evil. So using magic for beneficiary purposes, you know, helping people, you know, sending prayers, that would be white magic. Now, sending consciousness energy and utilizing it intentionally for the purpose of sending harm to other people or sending curses and hexes, this will be considered black magic, just to give you a little bit of a breakdown. So with black magic, it's it's very service to self. You know, there's service to self, service to others. And when you're working with service to self, this is purely materialistic gain. You're working with demonic spirits or negative alien people. Well, I don't want to say people, but beings is the word I'm looking for. And it's not like, if you want to progress spiritually, you have to really you have to be service to others. You know, you have to be moral, be ethical, and we'll touch a little bit more on that later. But to go back to my story, I was dealing with something that I don't know if I'm ready to talk about, but I was dealing with something to the point where I felt like, okay, let me go ahead and accept this person's help. So unfortunately, I did. Well, I kind of don't want to say unfortunately, because I learned a lot. Like from this experience, I learned a lot. Like I learned what I needed to learn. So I accepted the help. And next thing I know, it's like, because I gave this person permission to access my spiritual body, I remember like seeing in my mind like that from the astral plane, this person was like installing like artificial machinery, which I didn't know at the time. You know, this is back in 2019. This is way before I got deep into like the whole spiritual anatomy, the whole spiritual journey. You know, I was already on it, but this is where we get to like the deep end of things, where you start learning about the different agendas, you start having different experiences with negative people or negative beings. So that's what happened. I noticed he started installing like this different type of artificial machinery. Like it was like way above my head, all on the sides, and I didn't know. Like I didn't know I was being set up, basically. So, you know, after that passed, it's like I started noticing there were like within myself, there are a lot of things that were different. Like I started noticing that I was really tense. You know, I was having a lot of like really dark or negative thoughts. I thought that you know, I was communicating with a whole bunch of different things from beyond this plane, and I was like, my frequency was plummeting like really fast, and I didn't know what the problem was. I didn't know how deep it went. So essentially what happened was this person had installed artificial machinery that gave me that implanted artificial intelligent suppressor parasite entities, is what we're going to call them. And this like definition is from Ascension Glossary, which that website, it helped me out a lot, like figuring out what was going on. So suppressor parasite entities, what they are is they're artificial intelligent like drones, right? And they're able to self-replicate. And what they do is they harvest genetic material, or they harvest sections of your DNA to try and bury themselves within your aura and eventually within the physical body. So essentially, these are drones that are designed to um, essentially completely and wholly take over not only your physical body but your brain, like everything. Like it's really deep. Like, and it's like it's a horrendous type of spiritual attack, right? And it's like I didn't think I would get over it because it like they're incredibly difficult to free yourself from because they self-replicate. They they magnify the issues that you have within yourself. So a lot of the insecurities, a lot of the darkness within yourself, they amplify that. And they latch on to they latch on to an unhealthy thought form, or if you have some type of specific trauma, they'll latch onto that. And then when you clear the trauma, it's like they don't really have anything to latch onto, so they'll start to like die off. And they have survival, it's artificial intelligence, so they have survival consciousness, and they will do whatever they can to remain attached to you. So the thing is like it's usually like they'll be planted like here or sometimes here or both. And what they do is they bury themselves, or they burrow themselves deeper and deeper into your auric layers. And they essentially they kind of merge themselves with you, because the whole agenda really is for the negative aliens. They're trying to create more cyborgs. They're trying to transition humans from being organic to being mixed with machine, because that's how they're going to control you, not only in this life but beyond this life. So it's really deep. So, and like I said, this information is not to scare you. It's just simply to create awareness so that you understand why certain things are happening, why humanity is waking up, why it's just the key to understanding everything that's going on. You have to understand that there are certain races, extraterrestrial races, that are working very tirelessly to try and keep humanity in a depowered and an unaware state so that they can try and control us, and so that they can remain, it's survival for them. So us, being unaware, it's keeping them alive because they feed off of us. So these parasite entities, like, it's crazy. Like, what they do is like they're planted here, so they're able to mimic your voice and your thought process. So for a minute they'll observe like how your brain works, and they'll try and mimic that so they can be used as a mind control. So there are a lot of decisions during that time that I made that weren't necessarily in alignment with my higher self. But as with all things, when we get off the path, sometimes we are guided and realigned back to the correct path. So with these aliens, it's like it's just crazy. And the antidote to combating all this is, it's being in alignment with your higher self. It's being ethical and moral. It's not, it's not really saying, it's not being wrong to people. Like, you have to do right by people. It's the golden rule: treat others as you want to be treated. Like, that's the antidote. And that's also the prerequisite for reaching higher levels of consciousness, gaining more spiritual power, more spiritual wisdom, everything. So you have to be ethical, you have to be moral. Not only that, but there's a lot of confrontation that you'll get with negative alien beings when you're on the pathway to your highest evolution. More so if you're the type of person that has like a like you have certain genetics, like if you're a star seed, you have certain genetics, or if you have a spiritual mission or purpose that's going to influence a lot of people and potentially like change the world at large, they come for you. They come for your neck. So I've had like a couple of dreams where like, especially this one particular dream where like I had read something off of Ascension Glossary about the Holy Mother and it activated something within me. And what happened was I went to sleep, right? After that, I just went to sleep. And within the hour, I had this dream where I was laying on the bed and these two men in black looking type of aliens came in. And when I say men in black, I mean men in black. Like they were dressed in like black suits. They had the glasses on. Yeah, like this wasn't just a dream. And what they did was they did that flash, and after they did the flash, they left. And then like um, I had like this kind of like iPad handheld looking thing, and I looked at it, and it was like a negative alien, and the thing I remember most about the dream is like the alien, it was pissed because I'm awakening, and essentially when you're awakening, it means you're getting out the cage. So like the whole vibe was that it was pissed because it had to take the time out of its schedule to come and send the men in black to, I guess derail me. So after that, I woke up and I couldn't remember what um the small like kind of DNA activation or experience that I had with in regards to reading that part about the Holy Mother, which was like it's crazy. So like it's just one of the tactics that they could use to try and get to you. And your best protection against them is to have like a strong, healthy aura. So when you have like a really strong and healthy aura, like they can't get to you. So what they'll do is another tactic they'll use is that they'll influence other people to try and get to you. So a lot of the people that surround us, like maybe like some of our friends or our family members that are unaware or they're not yet awakened to a specific level, like they'll be used to target you. So how that works is like, let's say, um, I hate to use it as an example, but I'm gonna use it. Like for example, like my brother, he did something really like really petty because we have to share a bathroom, and at the time I was working, so I had to clean the bathroom just to make sure like I could take a shower and comfort and everything. And because he intentionally like dirtied the bathroom and I had to clean it up instead of him cleaning it up, it left a vulnerability in my aura because he was being manipulative. When someone's being manipulative and you kind of fall for the trap, it it makes your like it kind of opens a hole in your aura, and then the negative forces can use that to attack you. So you have to be like extra careful when it comes to the mind control perspective. Understand that they can use like different frequencies. Like you can use sound and light to alter, like you can use that to alter the nervous system. You can send messages to the nervous system, to someone's brain. So it's like really deep. That's why it's important to have like a strong and healthy aura to develop a connection with your higher self, so you can notice the difference between when you're being sent an organic message from your higher self or your spiritual bodies versus an inorganic message coming from outside dark forces. So, and this leads me to kind of go into nanotechnology. Nanotechnology is another thing. Now, when I was dealing with nanotechnology, when I first started dealing with it, like it made me like really nervous. It like the fear button was like it just shot up because how do you deal with nanotechnology? And with nanotechnology, it's like you kind of have to it's a special case because with nanotechnology, for example, like it's very small and they can use nanotechnology to attack your spiritual body. So, and nanotechnology, it's for with nanotechnology, they're able to manipulate your body or your spiritual anatomy on a very minute scale, which is the atomic level. And so to combat that, you have to remain like your heart has to be open. Your heart chakra and the energy that emanates the liquid light energy that emanates from your heart chakra will deactivate. It will dismantle the nanotechnology and it protects you from it. So understand that there is a part of you, your eternal part, that they can't manipulate or in any kind of way because it's the eternal part of you. So what's considered the God spirit within you, the God technology, it overrides all other technologies. They can't get that. So, that's one benefit. That's a good thing. It's one benefit to being connected with God and your higher self. You get protected. So it's just a lot. Like mind control is so like okay, it's really about being whole. Like in order to be holy, you have to be whole. That means it means honoring every part of yourself. And on earth, earth is very challenging. So when we experience like heavy trauma, the soul kind of fractures and it splits off, and then there's like this open space or this vacuum. And what you have to do is you have to engage in soul retrieval, you have to heal, and you have to reclaim that part of yourself. And this is the process of becoming whole or holy, because to be holy is to be whole. So being whole, having a strong aura, and remaining in 0 point, that is the key. Like that will offer you like the most protection when it comes to dark spiritual attacks or negative alien interference, dealing with alien technology. That will offer you the best type of protection. Like you can't find that anywhere. Adding to that, being moral and ethical adds a double layer of protection. Like there's protection in being moral and ethical that you're not going to find anywhere else. So when it comes to being in 0 point, you're stationed in 0 point. So like that means you're like in no time, you're outside of time. So the one advantage that you have is that being outside of time, these negative alien beings or these demonic spirits, they're confined to time. So their technology, their attacks don't reach you because you're outside of time. Now, when you're outside of time, or I mean, when you're inside of time, meaning you're not stationed in 0 point, which to be stationed in 0 point, you have to be aligned with your higher self. You have to be in tune with your inner self at all times. So that's how you remain in 0 point. And 0 point, it's also about having the masculine and the feminine polarities within you united. So when you're in 0 point, they can't get you because you're outside of time. They're inside time. So the time space that their technology is having an effect won't have an effect on you because you're outside of that frequency range. So it's important to really protect yourself and be aligned to your higher self, to your inner self, to your emotional self, so that way you can be safe. So with that being said, I think I'm gonna go ahead and because I don't want my videos to be too long, and I'm trying to go on like I'm trying to move off my intuition. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna end the video. I appreciate you for tuning in, and like I said, this is not to create fear, but this is just to create an awareness and to talk about some of the things that I went through, you know, because that alien technology is like, it's scary when you like first deal with it because you ain't never dealt with it before. But once you get used to it and you have the tools to protect you, then it's like it's nothing. Like, and think of it this way, like life is like a game, right? When the negative aliens or the dark forces, when they're, for lack of a better term, when they're fucking with you, you're doing something right. Because, you know, life is really like a game. When you're moving forward in the game, what happens? You start gaining skills, you start gaining knowledge, you start coming across things that you ain't never came across before that require new ways of thinking and behaving. That's how you know you're progressing through the game. And when you come across new sets of enemies, then that's progression. Now, when you're dealing with the same level of entities, you're dealing with the same problems, the same situations, you're not leveling up. That's what that means. That's why it's repeating. So when the negative aliens and the dark forces, when they're coming for you, that's, and I'm not saying you should look for that, but that's a good sign that you're on the right track. Now, if they're not coming for you, you know, they kind of just leaving you alone, that's because they're okay with where you're at in your life. They're not going to spend the extra time and resources hassling you if they're okay with where you're at in your life, which means that you're not really doing anything to disrupt their status quo. Let's put it that way. You're not doing anything to disrupt their plans. If you out here, you speaking truth, you trying to evolve and align to your higher self, to God, oh, they're going to come for you. Especially when you start talking about the things that I talked about in this video, the deep things where you're talking about negative aliens, you're talking about the technologies that they have, their methods of what they do, then yeah, that they don't like that. But because people need to be aware of what's going on, so that way you can make better choices aligned to your higher self, you know. But I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna go end the video because, you know, yeah. So thank you for tuning in. I know it was kind of like all over the place, I guess, but it's like, I don't know, like it's I like being on YouTube, but it feels like, I don't know why it feels like I have to rush to talk about what I want to talk about, because I'm already at 28 minutes and I could just keep talking if I wanted to, but I don't want the videos to be too long, but at the same time, I want to get everything that I want to say out there, you know. But hey, it's a new thing for me, kind of. So thank you for tuning in. We go ahead and we close the space. Thank you, Guardians. Thank you, Aurora families and Christ families. We seal this into the light of wholeness and union and love. And if this information helps you, if it's aligned to your higher self, great. If not, then go ahead and just cast it off to the side. You don't have to take it in. Like I said, I'm just trying to create awareness and spread light and love. So I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day and evening. And I will see you soon. Until next time, I love you. Bye.